Paul's own view is called the theory theory. As she puts it, all knowledge of our own attitudes and emotions is the product of theorizing about ourselves, usually on the basis of evidence. Now, this is almost the same as a view that we can call Rileanism, but not quite. And Rileanism is the view you get when you take Ryle's remark about John Doe's ways of knowing about John Doe very, very seriously, more seriously than Ryle himself took it. According to Rileanism, this is now quoting from Paul, we can only find out about our own minds by observing how our bodies are moving around and interacting with the environment, just as we find out about the minds of others. Hence the old joke about two Ryleans who meet on the street. One looks the other up and down and says, "You're fine, how am I?" This, Paul says, reasonably enough, is woefully inadequate. So why is the theory not quite the same as Rileanism? Well, it's because the evidence we use, according to Paul, to find out about our own minds doesn't just include evidence about how we are behaving and interacting with our environment, although it does indeed include that. She also allows a dash of mental or psychological evidence. For instance, mental images of apples and silent utterances of lunchtime. Further, she goes on, we can draw on somatosensory cues such as pains, nausea, and arousal. The key claim for the theory is that conscious awareness of inner speech, imagery, and certain bodily conditions does not in itself amount to the kind of self-knowledge that is substantive and perplexing, such as knowledge of our attitudes and complex emotions. Okay, so I asked Paul about this in the interview. She gave an interesting and helpful answer. See part 3 of the interview for that. So at the end of Paul's paper, we have 4 theories of self-knowledge on the table. There's the Cartesian view, which is Paul's 3 theses from Common Wisdom. There's Rileanism, the view that you get when you take Ryle's remark about John Doe and Richard Roe super seriously. So now there is no asymmetry at all between knowledge of one's own mind and knowledge of others' minds. Then there's the inner sense theory, which Paul doesn't like and argues against, partly on the basis of the absence of self-blindness. And then finally, we've got the theory, which is Paul's view. Of those 4, which is the most plausible? Maybe there's another 5th view, which is superior to all of them. These are difficult questions not settled by the existing literature in either philosophy or psychology on self-knowledge. There's plenty to talk about in the Friday recitation then. Do read Peter Singer for Monday. Next week we're going to start a completely separate topic. Comments on your first paper will be back by October the 7th. You'll then have 11 days to do the rewrite, so that's due October the 18th. Piece of advice, do make an appointment with one of the writing advisors, either Thomas or Kelly. And in general, if you have any questions about the course, any questions about philosophy, don't hesitate to either contact me or your TA. I'll see you next week.